Hello ladies, it's Dr. Poonam Kage and you're watching Rollercoaster Parenting, the only place where our endeavor is to empower you as a mother and as a woman and enable you to enjoy the ride of parenting and get your child life ready. We do all of this by creating awareness, sharing personal experiences and strategies to excel, whether it's personal coaching, professional development or intentional parenting. Today, we are going to talk about a concern that's been bothering a lot of people. What's worse is that these people who are facing the challenge aren't even aware about it themselves. We are going to talk about depression. It's more relevant today as the World Health Organization celebrates their anniversary tomorrow, and the theme for this is depression as well. Through this session, our attempt is to create awareness about the importance of mental health and also create a support system for the ones who need help and offer practical and valuable solutions. And for this, I'm going to turn to my old friend and a psychologist, Manjari Gokhale, for tips and strategies to knock off the blues off your pretty face and keep you smiling always. Manjari has a master's in clinical psychology from the Mumbai University. She's been practicing with the Institute for Psychological Health, IPH, since the last 12 years. She's a practicing academician and has taught students at the undergraduate level. She has also written research papers and her clinical work includes psychometric testing, counseling and designing workshops for children as well as those with special needs. A rollercoaster mom herself, she has two beautiful daughters. Welcome Manjari. Thank you so much for joining us at Rollercoaster Parenting.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure being on Rollercoaster.
Great. So Manjari, as a clinical psychologist, how would you define depression? Like what exactly is depression for, if you have to explain a layman?
I would say depression is a very common but serious mental disorder which includes feelings of sadness, and along with that you have the classic triad of depression which we call as hopelessness, helplessness and worthlessness. It's more common in women as compared to men, and it's not just feelings of sadness or the typical emotional responses that you feel in the face of day-to-day challenges, but depression is something which is more serious. Worldwide, the WHO says that about 350 million people are suffering from depression. That is about 5%, which is quite a sizable population. However, the thing is, very few people actually seek help or do something or go to a professional to seek help. But one thing for sure, the truth is that depression is definitely treatable and you can lead an excellent quality of life even if you have depression.
That's awesome. What are the exact symptoms of depression? What are the thought patterns or feelings or how does one behave? Because the first reaction itself is denial. No one wants to accept that they are undergoing depression.
See Poonam, like I told you earlier, the characteristic feature of depression is a feeling of sadness and emptiness which is pervasive and very persistent. For the sake of our understanding, let's divide the symptoms into two parts. There are a set of emotional symptoms and there is a set of physical symptoms. On the emotional side, a person could feel irritable over minor things. There could be anger management issues. There could be an overall lack of interest in things that earlier used to be pleasurable. So it might be watching TV, hanging out with friends, socializing. This also includes a decreased interest in sexual activity. So along with that, there could be feelings of general anxiety, a lot of restlessness, and there could be crying spells for no apparent reason. There are also a lot of repetitive thoughts and thinking about things that have gone wrong. There is a lot of guilt about those feelings, what we typically call as ruminations. And in very severe cases, there could be suicidal ideation and there could be actual planning and a lot of thoughts of death. So these are on the emotional side. On the physical side, we often see that there is either insomnia, which means that a person finds it very difficult to fall asleep or gets up very early up in the morning, so he gets insufficient sleep. So there is either insomnia or there is excessive sleeping. There is either an increase in appetite or an extreme decrease in appetite. Consequently, there could be a weight gain or a weight loss. A person also experiences a lot of fatigue and lethargy in doing very basic routine things. So it could be something like brushing your teeth, packing your bag, making a cup of tea. So even these chores seem like very difficult and hard to manage. Along with that, the person finds it very difficult to concentrate and focus on tasks. Making decisions might seem very difficult, and there are a lot of unexplained aches and pains that the person experiences.
Actually, you know what? Now I start feeling like I'm having depression because I see a lot of these conditions in myself. Like they might not be for long periods of time, but I have experienced all of this. So does it mean I'm suffering?
So exactly. So when I am enumerating all these symptoms, I'm sure like you, there must be a lot of people who might be mentally checking off these things. What we need to remember here is that day-to-day challenges and stressors also make us go through these kind of emotional responses. However, we are still able to cope with our day-to-day routine, our workplace, our responsibilities and duties. So what we need to understand is that if you are able to continue with your occupational and social functioning as you used to earlier, then this is probably a transient feeling. However, if you are experiencing 5 or more of these symptoms which I just enumerated for a period of more than 2 weeks, so for more than 15 days, if you are continuously and persistently experiencing more than 5 of these symptoms, then it might be a sign that you are having depression and it is time to see a mental health professional.
Okay. As you know, at Rollercoaster Parenting, our channel focuses totally on parents and kids, the challenges they face and the solutions, of course. Therefore, can you shed a little light on some of the most common examples of depression faced by both?
Poonam, statistics worldwide show us that depression is more common in women as compared to men. The reasons for that include social causes as well as biological causes. So something like postpartum depression is something which is very specific only to women because all the hormonal changes and the physical changes that a woman goes through during pregnancy and immediately after birth. In addition to that, women are always juggling multiple roles. So she's looking after the family, she's handling work, it's looking after kids. In countries like India, you also have the additional responsibility. It could be in-laws, other family members. So juggling all these responsibilities at the same time and trying to excel at all those things makes a woman more prone to stressors, which might trigger an episode of depression.
Okay. As a parent, how can one identify that the child might be showing symptoms of depression, as children by themselves might not be able to explain what they are experiencing? But as parents, we must be able to identify that there's something amiss, something different about the behavior. So any tips for our parents?
In kids, it might be a little difficult because, like you know, children are not very advanced with their linguistic skills and their vocabulary. However, children do give us signals. So in children, we often see there is a lot of clinginess. They constantly want to latch on to a parent, which earlier wasn't there. There could be a lot of irritability, sad mood, and they might constantly report being bored. Children also show a refusal to go to school. There might be a sudden drop in academic performance, and there might be very vague and non-specific physical complaints. So these are the symptoms that we typically see in children, along with the ones which I have already mentioned earlier. So if your child is showing any of these signs, your child might not be able to come and tell you that, Mama, I am feeling very sad or I am feeling very lonely. However, they will give you these kind of cues and signs. And if you notice this happening in your child for a persistent period of time, then don't turn a blind eye to that. We often have this habit of saying to children कि ये चला जाएगा, school में कुछ हुआ होगा, बच्चा come out of it, snap out of it. So as a parent, we need to be alert that your child is giving you certain clues. He is waving a red flag, and you need to be aware and you need to be more attuned to the cues that your child is giving. And if you notice any of these symptoms in your child, then the first thing you should do is go and seek help from a psychologist or a counselor. If you do not have access to a mental health professional, at least go and talk to your family doctor because he would be able to guide you to the right person. But don't keep thinking कि ये चला जाएगा, ये कुछ दिनों की बात है. Depression can occur in children as it can occur in adults, and as parents we need to be aware of this fact and also help them because children themselves will not be able to do it on their own.
Manjari, thank you so much for joining us on Rollercoaster Parenting and sharing your valuable thoughts on depression. Thank you for watching this episode. I hope you found this video useful. Subscribe to Rollercoaster Parenting for more such videos. Do leave me a comment below, and if you loved it, Share it with your friends and family, because the more you share this information, the more there's awareness created. Until the next video, enjoy the ride of parenting.